So today with us, it's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome today's speaker. With us is the Professor Pradeep Dagesar from MIT Pune. So he has completed his ME NTC and is pursuing PhD from GTU. So he is having 10 plus years experience, and he has published 12 total papers, and FDP and STDP organized 10. His achievements are a national evaluator for the Smart India Hackathon 2018-19, then awarded for above and below contribution in service by MIT SOT Pune in 2018, winner of Smart India Hackathon 2017 organized by Ministry of HRD AICT I4C, Texas Instrument Innovation Competition 2015 team stood in top 10 out of 3,100, and nodal officer for Surya Mitra program supported by NISC and MNRE, Ministry of Renewable Energy. Also, he has funded projects of 55 lakhs, 4 projects faced and run, 40 lakhs in 2015 and 17, and 50 lakhs in 2018-19, and 5 crore TBI fund coordination, 2.5 crore in August 2018, and 2.5 crore to be credited till 2019-20. So we are lucky with us today the speaker, Professor Pradeep Dagesar from Incubator Manager MIT Pune, TBI. And now, without wasting too much time, I would like to hand over the forum for to listen to today's speaker, Professor Pradeep Dagesar. Sir Dagesar, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Babar sir. Thank you, Chaudhary sir. Thank you, Gaikwad sir. It's been a long time I have met you, and after this, maybe in 1 year, I'm meeting you. I'm very happy to see you again. Good morning, all. Today we'll be discussing about the need of the Innovation and Incubation Center, and to support this incubation centers, what preparations the government have done, and and startup policy. We'll be discussing that part as well. But before that, we need to understand what is meant by incubator and what is the actual need as far as Indian scenario is concerned. Am I audible to all? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Fine. I think my slides.
Slides are visible. First slide is visible, sir.
So if you see our ability, now when we say our ability, we all Indians, we are talking about the Indian citizens. Our ability, if you see, we are very good in technical, we have a working attitude, that is workaholic we have. We have a very good analytical skill, logical skill, and most important, we are adjustable and sustainable in different scenarios as far as education, career, career and respective progress is concerned. But if you see, as far as the innovation is concerned or the startups statistics, the worldwide fact says that out of 100 student or 100 teams, 5 team or 5 students used to think about the startup and they enter into the startup area. Later on, out of 10, only 2 used to get sustained. That means it is very, as per the mathematical formula, it is very clear that out of 10, the 8 startups and 8 innovations used to die. So there are various reasons out of this. And out of these various reasons, the major reasons which I have highlighted is the lack of the awareness of the incubators in engineering institutions when the students used to study their engineering. And resulting, if you see, there is lack of awareness in the incubation, lack of awareness of the incubation, that means it results the slower entrepreneurship index overall. So what is the solution for that? The solution is that it is very clear, every academic houses, academic institutions must have the incubator and innovation centers, that is incubator and innovation houses, and they should come up with their own incubation and innovation policy as well. So before we talk about the government preparation, I would like to highlight what is mean by incubator first and how the incubator should focus for the innovation and the entrepreneurs. So for that purpose, I thought to give one reference of my own incubation center so that it will be very easy to percolate what kind of a concept I wanted to share with you. If you see the MIT Incubation Center, that is MIT Technology Business Incubator, the focus of this incubation center is very clear, that it should have the objective of the innovation and entrepreneurship components, along with the creation of the sustainable startups in the academic institution only. And for that purpose, what are the different operations we are running out over here? The first and foremost is the co-working space. We are giving a dedicated space for the students and the faculties, so that apart from their academic schedule, they can only work on the innovation and entrepreneurship related activities. Plus, we do give the mentorship, unlike the engineering branch oriented mentorship, we give the mentorship based on the thrust area. For example, R&D, for example, business mentorship, for example, the finance, legal mentorship, data analyst mentorship, documentation related mentorship also is very equally important. The lab access, as in our engineering institutes, we have the various labs. So apart from these labs, these labs are nothing but the maker space and the fab lab, fabrication lab, and the maker lab. IPR supports, intellectual property rights supports, and the technical assistance as and when the students and the faculties need. Now, this technical assistance and mentorship both we used to give from the industry only. If you see this incubation center is supported by the MIT as a host. It has been also supported by the industry, few of the industry, Capgemini and Persistence, where they are mentoring our startups and innovations, and the government agencies like DST, MHRD, like that. So this is just a nutshell overview. MIT TBI supported by DST with funding support of maximum of 500 lakhs rupees from the DST side, and from the MIT side it is 200 lakh rupees. Now, if you see the legal and the statutory structure of the incubation center, any incubation center, it must have a Section 8 company legal status. Then the objective is focusing for the incubation and innovation. Yes, makerspace and fab lab, a separate lab apart from the academic labs. The incubation center provides consultancies to the startups as well as to faculties as well, and the I2I program. Now, this I2I program is a unique program initiated self by MIT TBI called Idea to Implementation. We'll talk about this Idea to Implementation program as well later on when we discuss about the MHRD's policy. So at a glance, if you see whatever I did discuss with you, the same has been drafted over here. MIT TBI is a Section 8 company, or I would say any incubation center must have the legal status of a Section 8 company. Unlike the electronics or mechanical department, the incubator should have the legal status of Section 8 company. And when we say the Section 8 company, it runs on a not-for-profit objective. We are one of the few TBI, or I would say the first TBI who started this incubation center in Maharashtra, who started by the private engineering institute in Maharashtra, I would say, is supported by DST. Work area, as I said, incubation, I2I, that is idea to implementation, skill development, events, consultancy, and all those areas are related to innovation and entrepreneurship only. Till date, we have 13 physical startups. Three startups are graduated. They are in a profit-making stage now. And 4 projects we have self-initiated in association with the industries like Capgemini and Persistence. The features are very clear. We have our own incubation policy in sync with the NISP policy of Government of India. We have a co-working space, maker space, fab lab. We have a G Suite support from the Google and the respective mentor support from the industries as well. Funding, yes, 5 crore from DST, 96 lakh from the NIC, that is Ministry of Renewable Energy and National Institute of Solar Energy. 5 lakh we have generated by the consultancy in last financial year. The tie-ups, as you can see, the DST, Niti Aayog, Capgemini, Persistence. So this is just an overview, just to understand that how the incubation center run and what are the different objective and the component the incubation center must include. So we have the, I was talking about the labs. So these are the two labs of MIT incubation, that is Makerspace and the Fab Lab. In Makerspace, we used to do all the manufacturing and that's design and development related stuffs. And in Fab Lab, the fabrication related stuffs. As I said, in any incubation center, we must have the mentors from the different thrust areas like IT mentor, R&D mentor, legal mentor to support the legality, to support and to educate the legalities in the business and the innovation. Finance mentor, business plan mentor, sales marketing, and the makerspace mentor. So these are the various mentors we have onboarded to incubation center. And these mentors are not only from the engineering institutes, but they are from the industry, outside as well, that is from the industries. Now we are slowly moving towards the government initiatives which we have incorporated here. The MHRD have come up with the innovation cell and various initiatives we have started over here. For example, Smart India Hackathon. Then we have established the IIC, that is Institution Innovation Council. Then we are working on Atal ranking of institution on innovation and achievements, ARIA. And the last one is the National Innovation and Startup Policy, which is the main part of this session. These are the few stories. RLRD Private Limited. This startup has been started by one of the faculty and the student of MIT. The product names are electric parameter monitoring system and smart goggles. The smart goggle is for the dentist when they do lots of tooth surgery. Such type of smart goggles used to support them, or I would say that such smart goggles have make sure that they will not get the spondylosis issue in throughout their career. And we have the testimonials, very good testimonials out of it. The LED products manufacturing have been done by one of our startup, AMLED Lighting Solutions Private Limited. In MIT, whatever the LEDs we are using, in fact, in this lab, whatever the LED tubes we have, this all LED tubes have been manufactured by our own startup. And the startup name is AMLED Lighting Solutions Private Limited. This dentist related smart goggle, it is called as an ergo-optics loop, started by one of our startup, that is RLRD Ingitech Private Limited, which is the sister company of the main RLRD Private Limited. Jagana Design Private Limited, this is also the design related startups initiated by our own students, and they have created such type of beautiful designs for the respective companies like half HP Tillu Motor Company, then the Philips fans, the lift pan for the Divyang persons, and all those. Now, the most important point which I would like to highlight, that very recently MHRD, now it has been called as a Ministry of Education, they have come up with the own policy called NISP, that is National Innovation and Startup Policy for the students and the faculties both. Now, whatever we did discuss, the main objective of this discussion was to understand the importance of the incubation center. When the government felt that most of the engineering institutes are very good in the technical education, and their respective students and faculties are also very good in the technical stuffs, but still the innovation index is comparatively poor in Asia as far as Indian innovation is concerned. So the government officials sat together on a roundtable conference, roundtable meeting, and they have given some suggestions to the government ministries as well, and they have said that in any engineering institute, at least one innovation and incubation center must have. And for that purpose, the government have given the green signal, and the various respective bureaucrats, scientists have came together, and they have come up with one policy called National Innovation and Startup Policy for the students and faculties 2019. So this policy has been initiated in 2019, the very last year. before yeah, this is the same. Yeah, before I discuss about the NISP, let me share that MHRD, that is Ministry of Education, is not only implemented the NISP policy, but apart from that, they have initiated the Smart India Hackathon, Institution Innovation Council, and ARIA ranking for the engineering, or I would say higher education institute and universities. So on 11 September 2019, National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019 have been initiated by Ministry of Education, formerly known as an MHRD, with the intent of only one objective, that the government should support and promote the HEI, that is Higher Education Institute, for the technology driven innovations and the startups for the students as well as faculties. So this was the only objective, that the government should support to the students and faculty related to the technology driven innovation and startup, so that it gets an instrumental leverage for the potential students problem solving and entrepreneurship mindset, because most of the students are used to think about the job placements, or I would say the MS at outside. But as far as the innovation and the startups are concerned, their mindset is not that much proactive. So the intention of this policy is to change their mindset from the generic academic job oriented engineering tenure to the innovation and problem solving or entrepreneurship related track in the same engineering tenure when they are a bona fide student of the respective engineering institute. So this was the only objective of the government. So if you see the thrust area of this NISP policy, that is a National Innovation and Startup Policy, it has been divided on a major 6 verticals. I'll be discussing all the verticals one by one. The first vertical category named as A vertical, and in this A vertical, the government have said that what is government intention and objective for promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. What are the different pipeline and pathways available for the entrepreneurs? Now, when I say entrepreneurs, friends, here the students and faculties both are coming. So anyone can become an entrepreneur while studying the engineering, while teaching the engineering subjects. So it is for the students and faculties both. In same A vertical, that is the first vertical, the government have structured the respective organizational capacities and the organizational objectives. Now, when I say the organization is nothing but the engineering institute only, along with the HR support and the incentive support for the students and faculties both. Now, in moving ahead to the next vertical, that is a B vertical. In B, the various norms, rules, regulations, I would say the protocols for the student-driven startups and innovations have been enlisted. So what are the different facilities, what are the different rules, and I would say the protocols the student need to follow while doing their respective engineering. So all those norms have been enlisted in B part. Along with that, the government and the HEI, that is Higher Education Institute, are focusing to incentivize the faculties and the student if they start their own venture, maybe together or maybe at individual capacity. So in both of the cases, the government have given some guidelines that if any faculty or the student start his or her own startup or own innovation track related project or product, I would say, not project, product, then in that case, there are some sort of incentivized schemes have been suggested by the government. Next one is the various norms for the faculty startups is also have been also given. If consider any of the faculty from your engineering institute would like to start his or her own startup while doing their regular job, then that is also well appreciated and promoted. For that, the various norms have been given. In fact, the government is encouraging the faculties to start his or her own startup, and such type of points have been reserved in NIRF as well as Atal ranking as well, that is ARIA, for the faculties and the institutions both. In third vertical, that is a C, the various do's and don'ts of the incubation center have been written in this part. The government have suggested a few points how the incubation center should start, and how HEI, that is Higher Education Institute, can start the incubation center with what type of prerequisite parameters. So all those rules have been mentioned in C part. The IP ownership, which is the fourth vertical part, most of the faculties, students used to start their innovation best product or the startup, but in that case the IP matters a lot. So IP ownership related points are also been enlisted, have been mentioned in NISP policy. In D part, we'll discuss these all points one by one after these slides. And in fifth point, fifth vertical, I would say, that is the pedagogy and learning interventions for supporting innovation and startup. So what kind of an ecosystem support the government is preparing for students, faculties, and overall to the engineering institute? So all those ecosystem support have been mentioned in E part, that is E vertical. On top of that, the last vertical is the entrepreneur performance impact assessment. They have come up with one keyword or term, I would say EPIA. So any faculty or student have started their own startup. In that case, how, on what points they should get the incentives, on what points they should get the career promotions. So for that purpose, a rigorous, very serious kind of an impact assessment also been prepared, or I would say the suggested by the government, that is called entrepreneur performance impact assessment. At last, this is actually the part of the A vertical only, the various collaboration and co-creation of the business relation and the knowledge exchange. Such type of ecosystem and the various collaboration related leads are also being given by, or I would say the suggested by the government to the higher educational institute. Am I going with the good speed of listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going on well.
Fine. So if you see the highlights of this policy, I would rate these highlights of this policy in 4 major points. I'll start with the very first in a clockwise manner. A student can get the academic break for a semester or year to work upon their own startup if they initiated while doing their engineering, and respective credits are also been suggested by the government for that, and such type of guidelines have been issued to all the universities, whether it is private university, whether it is state government university or central university. So the credits for working on innovative prototypes and business model, the students can avail the academic break if he or she start his or her own startup. Moving to the next point, the various services to be offered by the institution in light of the equity or the fee-based model or the zero payment model. Now this is for the faculties and the administrators of the engineering institutes. Whenever your faculty and your students used to start their startup, whatever the services you are offering from engineering institute side, that is from your side, now in light of that you can ask for the equity or the fee based or the zero payment model. Equity would be near around minimum 2% to 9% of the equity stake the engineering institutes incubator can have in the startup, because they are giving all the facilities to the startup, just like co-working space, just like lab support, the various license, software license, the mentorship support, the ecosystem support, the various recognition related, or I would say the recommendations from the government and the industries, the fundraising related support. So all such type of service supports the engineering institutes and the universities are giving to the startup, and in light of that they can have the stake of minimum 2% to the 9% in the startup. So as far as the IPR is concerned, yes, whoever is the idea initiator, the all stake related to the IPR will be at the respective idea initiator only. If the student have come up with his own idea for the startup, the IP ownership will be at student only, provided that they are not using any facilities and the resources from the engineering institute. Now, if they are using any resources of the engineering institute or from the university, now in that case, the respective faculty or the respective engineering official must discuss this point with startup, and they can have the IP ownership related MOU in between them. If the engineering institute is giving all the end-to-end support to the product or to the startup, then the IP ownership can be split in between the can be shared in between student and the engineering institute both. So for that purpose, the respective engineering institute, that is HEI, must discuss such points with the respective startup founders. Now, moving ahead to some organizational budget part, every HEI, it has been suggested that every HEI, that is Higher Education Institute, must reserve at least 1% of the institutional total budget reserved for the startup and innovation related activities, or I would say the incubation related activity. And we call such reserve of fund is nothing but the innovation fund, or I would say the incubator fund. So this is the major highlight of this NISP policy. Moving ahead to the point-to-point discussion for all these 6 vertical. The very first and foremost is the A point, that is strategies and governance for promoting the entrepreneurship. See, government is very clear as far as innovation and startup related activities are concerned, and for that purpose they are promoting innovation and entrepreneurship activities throughout the India. HEI and universities must, I would say, come up with their own policy in reference with the reference of NISP and state startup policy. This NISP policy is nothing, as I said, it is a central government policy. Apart from that, the various states like Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, the various states are also having their own startup policy. So it has been suggested to all HEI and universities that they should read all those policy, and with the reference to this policy, they should come up with their own innovation and incubation policy. Every HEI and university must appoint one senior person with the charge of incubation center. This must be the independent charge, so that when we say the independent charge, he or she should not share his service in academic activity. He should be fully appointed to the incubation related activity only. Like here in MIT Incubation Center, I'm having the independent charge of the incubation and innovation related activities. So I'm enjoying this responsibility, and I'm doing such activities over here since 2016. Intra and inter-institutional related relation to promote the entrepreneurship and innovation agenda, and institute can provide the service and facilities to outside entrepreneur too. No matter if your engineering institute is supporting your own students and the faculties, that is appreciated. But apart from that, if you are supporting the outside student and outside faculties, that is also very appreciated. That will also be very appreciated. For that purpose, you can have the MOUs with the respective engineering institute, so that you can support their students and their faculties as well. So resource mobilization plan should be in a place. So whatever the resources you have, maybe the non-moving resource and the movable resource. So all such type of resources should be in a place as far as the incubation center is concerned. Now, when I say the resources, it can be the incubation makerspace lab, fab lab, the mentorship support. This is also one of the resource. The various equipments, the co-working space area, that is called the office space area for the startups and innovators. As I said, 1% of the fund should be reserved for the innovation and entrepreneurship activity from the total annual budget of the HEI or university. So rising fund from the various sources, you can raise the fund from the various sources like state and central agencies, like from central, we have the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Niti Aayog, then DST, Department of Science and Technology. You can write the proposal to them and you can avail the respective funds. From state also, most of the states are also supporting the innovation and entrepreneurship related activities, so that here they can give the funds as well. So you can write to them and you can avail. Apart from that, I would like to add one more point over here. Any engineering institute or university can write a proposal, write a project report, incubation related project report, I would say, to the industries as well, so that if they feel okay, they can give the funds to your incubation center as well. So the incubation fund support from the CSR under the section 135 of the Company Act 2019 is also eligible for the incubation. If you have your engineering institute is having the trust, which is generally available in most of the engineering institute. So the trust also can write to the companies, to industries for seeking the CSR fund. Sponsorship donations from the alumni network you can raise so that you can start your own incubation center for that. So all HEI, that is higher education institute, should join. Apart from this, should join the IIC. I'm sure your college is also having the IIC center in your place. Apart from that, they should support the SHI, that is Smart India Hackathon, and the ARIA. Listed in vertical A, that is of the NISP. Now in part 2, that is the B vertical, there are few norms have been given in part B only for the faculties and the students, driven innovation and startup. If the student have come up with his or her come up with the startup, in that case they the government have suggested some sort of the incentivization, I would say points or some components, intensivized components for the faculties and the staffs as well. Now this has been written in B. I'm not discussing how much is the incentive, what should be the incentive. This is actually the sole decision of the engineering institute only. So, but yes, there must be some incentive which we can give, the engineering institute can give to the students and the faculties. There are some norms are also been given to the faculty, only faculty here, because the faculty is doing or giving his service to the engineering institute as a professor, as an assistant professor, as an associate professor, as a HOD, or the principal, dean, director. So while doing their full-time duty, while giving their full-time to the organization, if they have started their own startup, so that is also appreciable. But what are the different norms for them, that has been mentioned in B3 point of the B section. So the norms for the faculty startups I will be discussing over here. So the norms are very simple to understand. The role of the faculty, whoever is starting his or her own startup, while teaching, may be the owner, founder, co-founder, the director, promoter, advisor, mentor, and consultant. But if he is starting his own startup, out of this all position, he cannot become he cannot take the position of the CEO or the managerial here. That means the faculty is already getting the salary from the higher education institute, and if he or she is starting his or her own startup, you can be founder, you can be director, you can be advisor, but you cannot take the salary from your own startup. Otherwise, it will become a conflict of interest as far as the salary wages are concerned. So that for that purpose, the government have said that you can start your own startup, you can appoint appoint one CEO to the startup, you can be on the position of the owner, founder, director, promoter, advisor, mentor, but you can't take the role of the employee as a CEO. Means you cannot take the salary from your startup. That is the very clear-cut point they have mentioned. Next point is the faculty must clearly separate and distinguish ongoing research at institute from the work conducted at startup. Most of the time what happens in engineering institute, lots of research activities are going on. So if the research activity is going on, in that case, the faculty should not include such research activity into the startup activity. Otherwise, the time, resources, and the overall objective of the engineering institute will get disturbed. So if your engineering institute is having the research activities, maybe related to the PhD, maybe related to any other in case of the selection for the acceleration or incubation, the faculty may take the sabbatical leave or the other leave up to 1 semester or a year or more based on the committee recommendation. Now, for this purpose, the government have suggested that you must have a research scrutiny committee, or you must have the innovation scrutiny committee. So this committee will read the application, or I would say the business model of the faculty. Is the faculty's business model or the startup model which he or she is proposing, if that model is really having a good and sellable potential, then in that case the government have suggested that you may give the sabbatical leave to the faculty, or you may give any other type of leave to the faculty up to 1 semester or 1 year for that purpose. Next one is that the faculty must not involve the research staff or the other staff engaged in academic project of the institute. Suppose, for example, if one staff is already engaged in B or ME project as a guide or as a supervisor, then for the same project or for any other project, I would say, you should not include that staff into your startup activity. It should be a very separated. Or in other way, I would say, suppose I am a guide to my student of the mini project or final year project, and in that case I am involving one staff into that project by saying that this is my startup project, then this is not in a legal way. Yes, your academic activity should be separate and your startup activity should be separate. Yeah, here one point is that if any student, whoever is working on his or her mini project or final year project, if the student feel that he should take up this project in future or maybe in the same time as a startup, then they are encouraged to do that. So that type of appreciations and the support is been suggested by the government. Next point, that is a C vertical, the various incubation and pre-incubation support facilities, creation and access. Before the discussion of this MHRD's NISP policy, that is Ministry of Education's NISP policy, I did discuss about the MIT TBI Incubation Center. The reason to discuss this point was related to the C point only. So what are the different facilities the HEI and universities must reserve or preserve for the students? So for incubation center, we must have the co-working space, that is office space to the student. The incubation center must have the pool of the mentors, like technical mentor, legal mentor, finance mentor, business plan mentor, sales and marketing mentor. The incubation center must have the various center, because we are talking about only innovation and incubation and startup related activities. So what are the different points for the incubation initiation that all have been given in C point, that is C vertical of the NISP policy. Next one is the IP ownership rights for the technologies developed at HEI. If your engineering institute, your university have come up with one good product or have developed a new technology, in that case, the IP ownership sharing sharing related points have been mentioned in D vertical. I'll just share two cases over here. If the student have initiated one idea and they have initiated to implement this idea in engineering college without taking the resource access of the engineering institute, if they are using their own lab, and apart from this lab, if they are not taking any of the other resources, much more resources like other staff from other department or from the other sister engineering institute, like in your campus you have two engineering institutes. So if one student is not taking the help of other engineering institute faculty or other department staff or the student, then in that case the full ownership of the IP shall lies at the respective idea initiator only. But if the student or the staff, if they are getting the help or getting the resources from the engineering institute, from the same engineering Hello, am I audible?
sir, break झाला होता आवाज आता. Now you are audible, sir.
So if the staff or the student is sharing the resources or getting the resources from the nearby department or nearby engineering institute or the other staff, then in that case the IP ownership will get shared. Obviously, the major stake of the IP ownership, means the major percentage ratio of the IP ownership will lies at the idea initiator only. But as you are getting the help from the other staff, other labs or other department or other sister engineering institute, then in that case the IP ownership will get shared. In third, that is E vertical, that is E point, the NISP have suggested the various learning interventions for the entrepreneurship development. So what type of various training program, various events you can take or how you can take. So all such type of points have been mentioned in E points, so that the intention of this E just to encourage the students and staff that instead of just looking towards the job placement or the regular increment, the government have appreciated and supported that the student and staff can start their own entrepreneurship venture in the same engineering institute, so that they can have the overall upliftment, not only for their own career, but the overall upliftment of the engineering institute also, and obviously eventually to the India as a nation also. So the students and staff have encouraged to start their own startup, and for that purpose, whatever the training and orientation programs you need for such orientation and training program related points have been mentioned in E point of the NISP policy. Next one is the F point, that is the impact assessment. Yes, it is very clear, as I said in a very recent slide, that if the student and startup have started his or her own startup, then they will be, the government have suggested to incentivize them. So on what basis they are going to incentivize? So all those, I would say, the points have been mentioned in F point, the performance impact assessment of the innovation and entrepreneurship. So for that purpose, your research coordination team or your innovation team can sit together. They can in throughout the year, and based on performance, they can give the respective incentive. Now, what is the incentive? How much will be the incentive? How much will be the promotion? How much will be the other type of financial, or I would say the monetary incentive? That all decision rights lies at the engineering institute only. So government is not that you should give 50% of incentive, 20% of incentive. No, it lies, this is the right of the engineering institute. Whatever amount of incentive you would like to give, you can give, but yes, you must give the incentive so that the engineering staff and the student, most important is student, the student should focus on the innovation and entrepreneurship activity. Government have also suggested short for such type of incentive, then the incubation center should generate the fund from the various funding agencies like central government, state government, industries under CSR category, from some sponsorship like that, so that you can give the incentives to the innovators, entrepreneurs, maybe from the student category or from the staff category. So incubators can give such type of incentive to the staff and the students. Yeah. So when I talk about when I did discuss about incubation and pre-incubation support, the incubation center must have the Section 8 company legal status, the technology commercialization related efforts, and allow licensing of the IPR from the institute to startup incubated at incubation unit. The facility should be accessible to 24/7 to the students, staff, and the faculty. Initially, if you cannot manage to give all these facilities like co-working space and lab related space 24/7, in that case, you start gradually. You may start with at least 12 hours, then 16 hours, then 20 hours, then 24 hours. But yes, ultimately, when you start the incubation center, we should make sure that the facilities should be available to all the students and staff by 24/7. Most of the IITs, IIMs are also having such type of facilities where labs are available 24/7. So with this high aim, or I would say the aspiration, we also can start bit from our side. In return of the services offered, now this is very important, in return of the services offered by the HEI, like space, like infrastructure, like mentorships, the stake in startup means your student have started his startup and he is taking the services like space, mentorship, legal, patent support, the infrastructure support from engineering institute or the incubator. Then the HEI or the incubation center, not HEI, but I would say the incubation center of the HEI can take minimum 2% to 9.5% of the equity stake in the startup or the company incubated in your incubation center. The IP ownership, as I said, if the engineering institute's student or the staff have started their own idea for the implementation, and in that case, if they have not shared any, ownership will be at their side only. But if they are sharing, case there should be some sharing formula. Obviously, this sharing formula right and the freedom is at engineering institute only, but as suggested by the NISP, if it is in the form of shares, then it will be again between 1% to maximum 4% only. Now in case of the software share, if it is software based innovation or patent, not patent, copyright or IPR, I would say, not copyright or patent, IPR. In case of the software share related IPR is there, software related IPR is there, then the share must be divided based on the mutually decision between the institute and incubation center and the incubated company. So because your incubation center and your engineering institute will know how much of the services they have given to the respective startup or respective innovator. Now based on that only, it is your freedom to discuss with your startup, with your student, with your staff of the respective for the IPR sharing. On any other kind of a dispute on the IP ownership is, as far as the IP ownership is concerned, the revenue sharing and the licensing, then the 5-member committee, the HEI can set up and they will look into the matter and recommend to the respective principal or the vice chancellor of the university, principal of the HEI and vice chancellor of the university, whichever is applicable. So HEI can set up the 5-member committee, the senior professors committee, and they can look into the matter, and as per the policy, whichever is the best, you can give the justice to the respective student, staff, or your engineering institute. Interdisciplinary research is appreciated, most welcome. Interdisciplinary research and the publication on startup and entrepreneurship should be promoted by the HEI. Now, this is very important point because most of the HEI must as well. Purpose, if any interdisciplinary research and publication is being initiated by the startup or by any entrepreneur, then it should. So apart from that, these are the few links which I have listed over here. You can download the copy of NISP policy and you can share this policy to the student, faculties, and the head of the institute for the adoption. I would suggest over here, if you have started the incubation center, then the incubation center coordinator can read this policy and they can draft their own policy for the engineering institute, and they can suggest this to the principal of your engineering institute for the respective approval. Next is the institute can join the NISP campaign launched by the MHRD's innovation cell. This is the link given over here. The institute can implement the NISP by appointing one senior faculty as in charge and nominates the details at the respective link. So you have to give the name of your faculty, whoever is taking the charge of NISP adoption, and you can forward his or her name to the government as well. That is mic.gov.in. This is the portal, and you can faculty over here, so that the government will also come to know that yes, he is the faculty who is looking after all the NISP activities in your engineering institutes. Yeah, so this is from my side. I'm Pradeep Dage, the incubation manager at MIT TBI Pune. I would be very happy to take the question from your side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll unmute them. Yeah. Now the forum is open for the question answer session. So unmute yourself and ask the queries, or you can put your questions in the chat box also. Hello. Is there any queries you can ask?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Shall I stop my screen sharing?
Yeah. It's okay, no issue. The participants are asking the questions. There is no issue about these.
Good morning.
Yeah, madam.
Yes, good morning, Dage sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's very nice presentation, sir. Thank you so much for a brief idea about research collaborations, and there are so many extensions are there. I just want to know about the RQ procedure of patent, as we have filed patent already and it is in procedure of RQ. It's now in we have applied for an exam. So at the end, so when we want to show that, or when we want to reflect that in our profile as a faculty or as an institute level, so is there any other type of forms we should fill through that procedure, so that everything is from department point of view and from institute point of view that will be benefited? Any other procedure we should follow?
If now it depend on for what window you are keeping your records of the IP. If you are going for the ranking, then the ranking points are different. As you know, NIRF and Atal ranking have their different points. As far as NIRF is concerned, if you have filed a patent already, then you can give the application IP ID, patent ID. I would say the application ID and the stage of your application, that whether it is just submitted or the exam done or it is published or granted. There are the four stages of the patents.
Yes.
If it is granted, then it is highly appreciated as far as the points is concerned. If it is published, that is also appreciated. If it is just submitted, then it comes into the submission category. But now if you are going for the Atal ranking, that is ARIA, then in that case, just submitting the IP application is not enough.
Right.
Your application at least should get the published category, should come into published category or the grant category.
Yes, yes. We have already published it and now we have filed RQ. So we are waiting for exam. So is there is any another type of a forum we should show? Means whenever we are reflecting that patent or any research idea to any committee, is it required to show some documentation in background that some DRC checking or some RRC committee's approval should be?
Initially, it is not expected, but yes, as far as REI is concerned, it is expected that you must have the copy of your IP application.
Okay.
On top of that, if you would like to show your research strength outside the world to the any government related body or all those any government related body or the research body, there is one portal called Vidwan, which has been initiated by MHRD. So I would Babar sir, actually I would request I would request you to convey this message to all the faculties that they must have the account on a Vidwan portal. This has been initiated by AICTE.
Okay, sir.
This is especially for the engineering institutes faculty. As you can see, the name meaning Vidwan, it is for the professors who is working in the area of research and innovation. So whatever the development in the research area you are doing, you must update your
policy यही है क्या?
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
Yeah. So you must have the account on a Vidwan so that it will get the boost to your engineering institutes position as well as your own individual position as well in the government related activities. Maybe it is ranking, maybe it is some funding related, maybe some I would say the proposal related because as most of the students and faculty have experienced that if any other professional would like to understand your profile, they used to visit to the LinkedIn, right? Similarly, if any professor's performance or any professor's portfolio, I would say, if any other professional or the government body would like to understand, then in that case, it is recommended that you should have your profile on a Vidwan portal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, please. Yeah, unmute yourself and ask the questions if you have. No more questions? Otherwise, you can put it in chat box also.
Hello, Dage sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is very nice presentation and talk you have done. I think most of the ideas you have clear in this.
Thank you, sir.
I was also listening. So I have just opened this Vidwan portal. Here the login is there. So login as an expert, login as a nodal officer, login as a funding agencies. I think we have to login as an expert. Yeah.
Expert and nodal officer both. If you are engineering institute opening the account, then there must be one representative from your engineering institute that is called nodal officer. But at individual level, if you are opening,
nodal officer. Okay.
Yeah, if individual level at your opening, then it should be expert.
Okay, good.
Abhijit Kadam?
You are told because I was not knowing this.
Actually, this is just launched, sir. It was not old. Just before the lockdown, they have started. In 2019, in fact, in 2019 they have started.
Yeah, Abhijit Kadam sir, would you like to ask some questions? Hello. Okay. Shall we conclude, sir? Then?
And definitely, Pradeep Dege sir, I would like to invite you at our institute as we have started on Innovation Center for IoT. So definitely you can go through this, and your guidance will be which will be more useful. And definitely this is the era, and this whatever we are doing as engineering institutes, we have to go for this incubation, startups, and the innovation policy of Government of India, as well as to help to not only our community, to our India also indirectly.
Sure, sir. Sure, sure. I would be happy to visit your college.
Please do come.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
think Babar sir, if there is
Yes.
no question,
Yeah, welcome.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, sir. So that is, I express my heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for sharing your valuable time and sharing the views about the incubation innovations.
Appreciate our efforts by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.